the 2025-26 Creighton women's basketball season. Jim Flanery joining me now. Flan, basketball season's almost here. How are we doing?
Doing well. I wish I could get out and play a little golf this week.
Yeah.
It's been so nice, but it's been good to be in the gym. I mean, we have a young group, so practices are fun because you can see improvement more readily, probably just because of how young we are, and so that's been fun.
So 7 newcomers this year. It's a new look for this team. You graduate arguably the most successful class that this program's ever seen. How do you replace it? How do you replenish this roster?
Well, I think you got to try to back up all the way to ground zero and not look at it as replacing Morgan and Lauren and Molly, and just understanding that there's a style of play that we're going to play that's similar to what we've played in the past, but there are some things that we're not going to emphasize as much because it's such a young group that your building blocks are just a little bit different. And I said with an older group, you're trying to win in the margins, like we were more execution specific and trying to figure out, okay, what's a play that we can put in for Morgan, or what's a play that we can put in for Lauren, or how do we want to finish a quarter. With a younger group like this and so many new players, you're back to fundamentals on a little bit higher level. You're trying to get them to finish possessions in a way that a college player is going to need to do that a high school player maybe doesn't have to do. So you're kind of preaching that. But there are things popping up in practice that tell you, okay, we need to pivot and we need to emphasize this. We clearly haven't been emphasizing this as much. So way more, I would say way more staff meetings that kind of be like, okay, what is the next 2 steps for this team this week versus what you have had over the last 2 or 3 years, which is, okay, this is where we need to be. This is pretty close to where we are. Next progression. I think the progression is just a little bit harder to find, but like I said, I think the fun thing is the growth is more noticeable with individuals, and then just, hey, we're getting better at concept A. We're getting better at doing this defensively, in addition to saying, wow, Neely's improved a lot in this area, or, and if you can do that, then, I don't know, there's a freshness about that.
I know. Is it fun for you, like being at this point of your coaching career and getting this, new, fresh set of eyes in this gym?
Yeah, when we first came into the Big East, I'd been the head coach at Creighton 11 years, and I told people it's like having a new job without having to, and I think it was energizing to get in the Big East because you had so many new things thrown at you, and I almost feel like this is comparable to that in terms of it's like I have to take away what maybe has been the template for October practices and September workouts, and be willing to modify and coach a little bit differently. I think with this many freshmen, you've got to coach them hard and you've got to be critical here and there, but you also have to back off maybe a little bit more than younger Flan would have, because I just think there's too many of them out there. You'll look out at a group and it's in practice and there's 4 freshmen out there, and you've got to, I don't want to say lower the expectations, but you just have to keep telling yourself baby steps are going to get us there. It's not going to happen overnight.
Who have been some of those newcomers that have stood out to you that you can really see filling a large role in this team?
Well, obviously you guys and a lot of people should be interested in the twins. I think Neely, and I only call them the twins because their parents call them the twins. But Neely and Nora have done a good job. I feel like they're very different. They're a little more different than I thought, personality-wise. But they've done a good job. I mean, they both can score the ball offensively. They do some good things. Their length is going to make them good passers. Kendall McGee, our guard from Minnesota, has been healthy and doing some really good things. She's really strong, maybe as strong of a guard physically as we've had, especially as a freshman. And then we've had some other freshmen who haven't been in as many practices just based on health. So, but yeah, we're going to see an impact from our freshmen. I think a lot of them are going to get to play, and I think people are going to, it's not going to be pretty every night from every one of them, but I think you're going to see a lot of really good glimpses, and I think it's a talented group.
You got 4 players over 6'2". Is that an emphasis to get bigger on this team?
Well, I don't know if it's an emphasis or if it's just that's the way it fell, but
Yeah.
I do feel like our length can help us. I mean, in terms of, I think we can be a really good rebounding team because of our length. I think we can be a good passing team. We're not a great passing team yet, but I think, Kiani's done a really good job of distributing it, but I think our length will enable us to be a good passing team with the way we move off the ball. And then just our interchangeability defensively. I think we're going to be a team that switches a lot of screens. Not to give away too many secrets, but I think our length can be bothersome defensively too.
Yeah. Okay, when you think about the landscape of college women's basketball, just from your perspective, being in the game so long, how would you describe where it is right now?
Yeah, the game's in a really good place. I think ratings are historic. I mean, if you look at Big East basketball, we're on way more platforms than we've ever been on. I mean, there's competition to get us on. I mean, I think we have, besides ESPN Plus, we have, I think, 10 or 11 games on linear TV, which is great. So I think the game, women's sports in general has taken off in the last handful of years, and I think basketball has been one of the leaders in that. Our in-game attendance has grown. I think that's been something that we're really proud of, and we hope to capitalize on the group that we had. So people come out and watch this team play just because we don't have quite as many household names as we had. I hope people give this group a chance because I think they're going to be exciting to watch and fun to watch as well.
Yeah, I mean, recruiting the twins obviously will help too,
Yeah.
and having that local talent. Is that something else you also want to start emphasizing more at Creighton, of keeping that local talent home?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we love it when we have good Nebraska players, and we just lost Jamie Horan from Millard South and Morgan Molly from Creighton. So to get the twins, we got a 2-for-1 there. So, but we're excited to have them, and I think when you can recruit locally, you're going to have more people in the community interested because they follow them in high school. So it's just natural that they continue to follow them in college, and I think people will enjoy watching Neely and Nora compete at this level.
We know, of course, you talked about all the new faces. What will remain the same, though, with Creighton, its standard, and just your coaching philosophies?
Well, I think we're going to shoot the ball well and play unselfishly. I think you can expect really good ball movement. I think we'll be a team that hopefully is connected defensively. We're not going to have the greatest size and the greatest quickness defensively, but hopefully we play well together, really at both ends, and play with a joy. I think that's important, and I think our seniors will really help that. I think Kennedy Townsend, Keani Lockett, and then Grace Bofelli are our transfer from Northern Iowa. They're all 3 high energy players. I think they're really embracing and cherishing their senior year, and I think that'll shine as you watch them play, and I think that'll help them. Those 3 will help our younger players navigate the length of a college season, because when you play 30-some games as a young player, you're going to have ups and downs, but I really do think we have really high energy, good leadership.
All right, Flan, I'll end you on this. How do you set the goals for the year? How do you set expectations in terms of where you want to end up?
Well, I think we can let our team know that the expectations really don't change. I mean, we can be a really good basketball team, and people on the outside aren't going to think that we're going to be as good. They're not going to believe that we can be as good. But but we need to have a little bit of a chip. I think, I said, you don't get to the Division I basketball level without being driven internally, right? I mean, you don't make it at this level and get recruited at this level if you're not driven and competitive. But I think just by virtue of maybe having people on the outside think we're not going to be as good, you can use that occasionally. I don't think it has to be a everyday driver of what you're trying to accomplish, but I think occasionally if you can use that, again, to navigate how tough an entire season is, I think that can help us. But I think, I know that our seniors just think that being in an NCAA tournament is something that we should believe from day one that we can do. And so I trust our locker room.
You let those haters know, Flan.
I'm going to let you guys know.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the time.
Okay.
Best of luck this year.
Thanks, Anna. Appreciate it.